Okay, hello. Just make sure I'm on the right thing. Yes, I am. Okay, hello now. My name is Lisa Callahan, and I am the founder here of the Women's Emotional Eating Community Support Group. And I want to take you through an amazing topic today that is all about how to get off of the dieting roller coaster and stay off for good. So as we're thinking about this dieting roller coaster, this ups and downs, this twists and turns, and all of the excitement leading up to getting on the roller coaster, and then the crash down when you come into that pitfall, I want you to think about how much turmoil that a roller coaster will give you in your life. And it's interesting because when we're getting on a ride, we're just going on that one roller coaster ride. Well, yeah, it can be exciting, and it can be even valuable to give you something to do and something to feel great about. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to get on this roller coaster. But you don't really want that for your life. And in fact, when we have emotional roller coasters going on in our life, that doesn't feel good. So when we think about our diet, and we think about our diet being a roller coaster, and I think about a roller coaster as ups and downs. So if you think about it that way, that would be the yo-yo dieting, the, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, that back and forth, that up and down, that unstable, like that instability, that it doesn't feel consistent with what it is that you'd want for your actual life. So I want to talk a little bit about diets today and why we go on them to begin with. So I think that there are really only 3 reasons why anybody in their right mind would ever want to go on a diet. Reason number 1, and this is 70% of women and 40% of men, go on a diet to lose weight. Now we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but that's the main reason why somebody would go on a diet, is they want to lose weight. So the second reason is that they have some kind of a competition coming up. They have a specific time frame, and they have a goal for that time frame. Somebody that's doing, let's say, I don't know, I used to do figure competition. I had like a 16-week diet plan. It was handed to me by a personal trainer. And when I was done with that 16-week diet plan, I was handed another plan on how to diet out of my diet. So think about that. When I was on a very, very strict regimen for bodybuilding, for competition, I got a diet to diet out. And it was a lead up. It was a diet in. In fact, I spent about 6 weeks dieting into my diet, meaning that I started to cut out certain foods. Then I had 16 straight weeks of diet. And then I had about another 6 weeks of dieting out. So think about this whole process. Like, my trainer at the time knew that I would need time to get acclimated to the diet, and that my body would need time to acclimate out. Well, that's not what we do when we're going on a diet for weight loss. We are not acclimating in or acclimating out. We are like hardcore buying all the stuff, buying the food scales, tracking the points, getting the journals, keeping our apps open, whatever. And we are going after it. We are running to the supermarket, getting all the foods, making certain that we check off the list, check off the boxes. And then we're like off and running, which is that whole like climb up in the roller coaster ride, and it's like, I'm doing it. I'm getting there. I'm working hard. I'm doing all the things. And then we get to that top. Now, mind you, when I was competing, I dieted out of my diet, which meant that I slowly added things back in. That doesn't happen when we're on a roller coaster ride of dieting. And so when we're doing that roller coaster ride of dieting, we come to a hard stop. And that's when you're on that top and you're like, and you're sinking down. And so when you're sinking down on a real roller coaster, you get that feeling like you're like, and you've got that pit in your stomach and all that stuff. Well, that's what it feels like when you're just coming off of a diet, because you end up overeating because you've just been restricted so much. And so this is why this roller coaster for your real life is never, ever going to be okay. And so remember, I said reason number one that most people go on a diet, 70% of women, 40% of men, would be to lose weight. And I'm going to tell you why that's not okay in a minute. The second reason is competition. Like I said, I did it. Okay. I dieted in and out. That diet for me was actually fairly, probably the most healthful experience that I ever had, because I had a plan. I had a diet in plan. I had a diet out plan. When I was just dieting for weight loss, I had no plan. I mean, I had a diet plan to follow, but I had no diet in, diet out. So it was all or nothing. So the third reason why anybody would want to go on a diet is that maybe they have an allergy to some food, or they have a religious purpose for not eating a certain food group, like maybe they're lactose intolerant. So they say, you know what, I'm on a dairy-free diet, or maybe they have a nut allergy and they're like, I'm on a nut-free diet, right? So those are diets that are legitimate. Reasons 2 and reasons 3, you're doing a competition, you have a plan, you're dieting in and out. Number 3, you have a legitimate reason for not wanting to eat a certain food group. That's a diet. Reason number 1, to go on a diet to lose weight, that's not okay. And the reason why it's not okay is because weight is a symptom of an underlying problem. So if you're going on a diet to basically try and fix the symptom of your underlying problem without ever introducing the idea that there is an underlying problem, well, that's going to be a problem. So the reason why I wanted to bring this topic up today is because when you're struggling with an emotional eating habit, a diet is actually going to be used as a distraction to continue to make it seem like you're doing something really, really important and really purposeful to fix your problem. The thing is, though, is that we tend to think when we're going on a diet that our problem is that we are overweight. And yet we never really look at the part where it's like, well, why do I have weight on my body to begin with? Well, yeah, I'm eating too much sugar. Yeah, I can't stay out of the snacks. Yes, I'm crunching and munching on all the chips. Yes, every time I pass a vending machine, it's calling my name. Yes, I have a little kid at home and there's constant snacks around, yes, that's why you're gaining weight. But at the same time, there are reasons why your hand just goes into a bag. There are reasons why you can't walk past a vending machine without it calling your name. That's not like the real way that it works in the world. It might be the way that it works in your mind. That's not the real way it works. And I didn't know this either. So back in my day of dieting and binging, I thought that everybody was on a diet. I really did. I thought that it was just the normal thing to do. Fad diets to me were like the next thing. It was just like 1 minute we were on, I think Pritikin was like a long time ago, or Dr. Atkins. Atkins was like one of my first things. And I remember going into this diet ice cream shop called Delights. I don't know if it's still around in South Florida here. And I would go into Delights ice cream and I would get these Dr. Atkins cookies, and they had them in this bulk bin. So I would just pick out this cookie and that. I would leave with literally like 14 cookies. It was supposed to last me the week, but then I would get a little bit of diet ice cream, which was all chemicals. And I would just get a little of this and a little of that, no problem. And then I would go into my car and I would eat the entire ice cream and the 14 cookies. And I really believed that I was on a diet. I believed that I was following the Atkins plan. And I convinced myself that it was like, well, it's okay because Dr. Atkins made it. That's just darn silly. At this point in my life now, I recognize it for what I was doing, which is I was literally putting like a hood over my head and just like la 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 la. Like I was absolutely using the diet, using the experts, using my friends who were also on these diets as a way to keep myself stuck. to keep myself from believing that there was no root cause of the problem, that the problem was that I just hadn't found the right diet yet. And that is a big bag of bullshit. It just is. And I think that even at the time, I must have sensed something, but I just didn't know what to do about it. And I didn't know that I could do something about it. I didn't recognize that there was a thing to do about it. I just felt like that was what you did. So after that, I remember all of my friends went on this thing called Fit America. They were pills, capsules. They made you not hungry. So I thought, wow, this is amazing. And so help me, every single person that I knew that was in the gym working out with me, because don't forget, I was a personal trainer. So I had a lot of personal trainer friends. So you're talking about 20 people that I knew, all like, we're getting ready to eat at a meal or whatever. And you're supposed to take it 30 minutes before you ate. Everybody's out there popping their pills, and then, curbing their appetite so they didn't eat as much. Meanwhile, what it really did was it really increased your heart rate. It made it so dangerous. And you got addicted to the things because you felt like, well, now what? What if I go off these pills, right? Talk about a roller coaster ride. Talk about ups and downs in mood, in feelings about yourself. To think like, I can't eat a meal without putting 3 pills into my mouth. That's not okay. It's not how babies do it, right? It's not how I was, started my life. Like, why do I need to do it now, right? When I was a baby, I managed to figure out when I was full. I just said, no, thank you. I'm not interested anymore in the baba, right? I had that internal instinct. When I was little, my gosh, I know, like my mom would have to like, Lisa, come on in to eat. Oh, Ma, I don't want to eat dinner now. I'm playing. I was thriving. I felt good. How come later on in my years, I couldn't find the shut off switch? What happened, right? And so this is why I think that even the thought of being on that diet roller coaster is really just allowing somewhat of a wolf dressed in sheep's clothing to come on into your mind and just kind of pull that wool over your eyes, because you're not recognizing that this whole piece, that there's a whole nother side of the puzzle that you're just not seeing yet. And anytime that you feel stuck in anything, I want you to tack on that word to the end. Yet. So I'm not seeing the bigger picture yet. I'm really confused about this. Yet I know that there's an answer, right? So use that word yet to take you where you want to go, even if you don't know that it's available to you yet. And that's why I'm here to teach you, because I've been down that road. I've been with the hood over my head. I've been on the roller coaster ride. And let me tell you something, all it really did was it screwed up my metabolism. It made it literally impossible to lose weight if I wanted to. It hurt my self-confidence and my self-esteem because it made me feel like a failure over and over and over and over again. And so it did really nothing for me. And it added some false excitement to my life because it forced me to believe, or it allowed me to believe, that I was really doing something. And I was, helping myself to fix this problem of mine. When meanwhile, really all the diet was doing was it was getting me really excited. It was making me feel like I was connected. I was doing the right thing. I was a good person. I did everything I was supposed to do, right? It made me feel like I was actually not standing in my own way. And it gave me this feeling of, of like immediate gratification, kind of like, all right, I've gotten all the food, I prepped, I've gotten my journal ready, like I'm set to go, yay, woo, I'm good, look at me. But then it dropped me off after the ride was over. And then I was like, now what? It left me feeling really sad and really empty and really like I had messed up, like almost like I had wasted my time. I was like, well, why did I do this? What was the purpose of it? And so then when I was feeling all sad and like, kind of like, what did I do this for? Whatever. Cause I would always over go the other direction after. And I'm certain that you ladies can really understand this, where it's like, you go on the diet, you're all excited, you're doing all the things, like you're doing it with friends, so on and so forth. And then when it doesn't work, it really is this kind of feeling like, well, it's not my fault. The diet was an unrealistic diet. The diet didn't work. Or you get to tell yourself that you have commitment issues, that it's like, well, yeah, I'm just not good. I can't do these things. Like, I have commitment issues. So you get to do one of two things. You either get to kind of say like, that ride was bad because, the ride itself sucked. Or you're like, I just don't like those rides. Like, I'm not good at those things. So you either take it in one way or the other. In either way, and honestly, it becomes a blame. And when you confuse an actual fixable problem with something to just kind of like blindly like blame outside of yourself, well, that doesn't ever allow you to expose yourself to the truth in a kind-hearted and loving way. Because what it ends up doing is it makes you feel like you're at fault somehow, or you just, you couldn't do it. And then it causes you to feel like you've done something wrong over and over and over again. The truth is that if you feel like that to begin with, you're just using a diet to keep you feeling badly about yourself. So now it becomes exceedingly dangerous for you who's struggling with an emotional eating issue. I'm not talking about somebody who's going on a diet because they're competing, or someone who's just like, hey, like I have in my religion, we don't eat meat on this day or whatever. That's a different story. I'm talking about somebody who has an emotional attachment to a feeling that they're getting from either eating too much food, or then on the flip side of that, the diet, not eating enough. And so when you're not eating enough and you think you're doing something good for yourself, but it ends up tripping you and you end up sabotaging your efforts. And then, like I said, you either blame outside of yourself, you either blame the diet, or you blame yourself for it, which is a really sad shame because it's not your fault. It's just that it's all you know yet. So now I want to help introduce you to something different. And I want you to understand that there's a concept that goes above and beyond the diet roller coaster concept. I thought that the diet roller coaster concept was just the normal way. It's not. So I'm going to look down. I want to read a few of my notes. I'll just tell you a little bit about diets. Diets usually equate to short hours of unsustainable eating habits. In the end, they screw up your metabolism and leave you struggling to lose weight. So listen to that. Diets equate to short hours of unsustainable eating habits. And when you think about it, like, you really can't stay on a diet for longer than like 6 weeks, maybe 12 weeks tops. And most of the diets, even on the market today, will try and like kind of start you off really strict. It's like, I know I was hearing about one diet where it's like, no, potatoes at all. But then like after week 6, you're allowed to have like 1 potato every 4th day or something, just like really like regimen, right? It's just this thing, and then after a while, it's just like you get back to your normal routine, and then all of a sudden you've got a little of this and a little of that, and the next thing you know, you're off the ride, right? So I want to just say that, so let me just give you a few reasons really, again, why, what a diet does. It screws with your metabolism, leaves you struggling to keep weight off when you are just trying to eat healthfully, because now you've messed with your metabolism. A fad diet, which is really what all these diets are, like they're all fads. Like now I was looking the other day and I see that, like, I know back in my day, like the 90s or so, it was all like fat-free Entenmann's cakes, Meanwhile, they had so much flipping sugar in them that like toxic levels. Well, now everything's keto. So now the new thing is, it's like, no sugar, and yet the amount of chemicals that are in those things are causing all of the gastric issues and all of the people who are struggling so severely with IBS and with like irritable, not irritable, what is it? The gut, leaky gut. Like that's all coming from all of those chemical things, but it's like, oh, it's no sugar. It just doesn't work. I mean, it really doesn't. It's a manufacturing, trick to get you to get on the roller coaster ride. They want to sell you a ticket, right? So eating on a fad diet often leads you to unnatural weight loss that is often a result of the body burning more lean muscle tissue than fat for total weight loss. And this means that you can lose weight, but you'll actually have more fat on your body. And then when you, again, get off the ride, it's like it leaves you chemically in a different place than you were to begin with, which is not what you want. I don't think it is anyways, pretty sure. And then thinking about like, if you do go on a fad diet and you do lose a lot of weight unnaturally fast, the faster your body loses something, the faster your body is going to work twice as hard to replace it. So that's why you could lose 5 pounds and put back on 15, and you don't know what's going on. And it's so frustrating. But remember, when you're trying to lose weight, if weight is a symptom of an underlying problem, well, then you're never going to fix that unless you get to the root cause of the problem. So a couple of suggestions are to, number one, start to recognize and become aware that there is a root cause of the problem, and decide for yourself that that's what you're going to address, whether it's with me or with someone else. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, it does. I'd love for you to work with me, but at the same time, I'm okay if you just want to introduce this concept into your mind. If you got it from me, great, have at it. I just want to help you fix this because I know that you can. So when your mind is trying to get on that roller coaster and that fast stuff, take it down a step. Slow yourself down. This is not a race. You are never, ever, ever, you can lose weight fast. So what? What is that going to do for you? Like, how is that going to fulfill you? How is that going to make you happier? How is that going to make you feel joyful inside? How is that going to keep your hand out of the cookie jar when you are feeling sad and lonely? Like, it's not teaching you anything that is helping you figure out why it is that you have the weight on your body to begin with, period. The second thing that you can do is you can allow for learning. Decide like that you're a bio-individual, and that's a word that I want you to write down. It's called bio-individual. It means that your body is its own. One person's perfect food is another person's poison. So if you're sitting there and you're going to go on some fad diet, well, that could be poison for your body. Maybe it worked for your best friend's neighbor's, granddaughter, whatever, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily going to fit for you. So introduce yourself to learning about yourself. Really decide for yourself, like, what things feel good in your body, what things light you up from the inside. And I don't mean the sugar and all of the palatable foods, the stuff that, engages your senses here and then drops you down hard, right? Did you ever see one of those rides, talking about roller coasters, the ones that like they pull you up really fast and then they kind of slow down a little at the top, and then all of a sudden they go and they drop you down? That's really what that sugar stuff is doing, right? Because it's kind of like bringing you up fast. And then it's like you sort of stay there for a few seconds, you're like, okay, I'm here. And then all of a sudden it's like, bam. So I think that if you can think about it like that and think about what is it that is causing that reaction in my mind, and is that what I actually want to live in my current day-to-day life? Because that's not exciting. I mean, that's torture, actually. It's harmful, it's hurtful, and it doesn't work. It's not the same. It's not sustainable. The last thing is I want you to lower your expectations, really. Like, if you're setting yourself up for your disappointment in yourself, well, that's not going to be helpful. Although you could be thinking about it from a standpoint of setting yourself up for the disappointment, meaning when you go on the diet and then you're going to be disappointed in yourself after because you can't stay on the diet, versus taking the time to learn about yourself and making some mistakes along the way, maybe being a little disappointed, but being able to learn from that disappointment. Like, disappointment's not actually a bad thing. It's kind of like a paper cut. It like happens and it hurts for a little bit, but then we figure it out. It heals kind of fast. But if disappointment is actually your subconscious goal, which I know seems like, why would I want to be disappointed? I promise you, if you're going on a diet over and over and over and over again, if you're on this up and down roller coaster, if you're yo-yoing, if you're doing all that stuff, disappointment is absolutely a subconscious goal. It's what you're going to get to at the end of it. So you might, try this on your own and just listen to your body intuitively and learn about yourself, learn how you're a bio individual, learn what it is that you want to bring into your mindset, and learn about why you have this problem to begin with. And yeah, there may be some disappointing days, but it's not going to be your subconscious goal. And so as we move through this, I want you just to remember that this is all about self-discovery. That's what I teach. That's what I coach. And I want you to learn about yourself. I want you to get out of your own way. I want you to get off of that ride, and I want you to walk on your own 2 feet. And yeah, that might be hard, and that's okay, because you can do hard things. We know that about you. You're a strong, courageous individual that has maybe had a few detours in life that maybe haven't felt that comfortable. And I get that. So we can work together to figure out where it is that you might be kind of living in a little bit of a fearful place. And the diet roller coaster is just keeping you going round and round and up and down and all over the place, but it's not really getting you anywhere. So I would like to invite you to get off. All right. I will see you next time. Again, my name is Lisa Callahan. I am the founder of the Women's Emotional Eating Community Support Group on Facebook. I also run a coaching community called Crush That Food Thing Self-Discovery System, where I help women identify their invisible emotional relationship with food through taking a journey of self-discovery. All right. Thank you very much. Bye now.